How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be recapping UFC Vegas 101 Dern vs. Ribas 2. It just wrapped up a little under 30 minutes ago. It's 10:36 when I'm recording this. I did decent on picks, went 8-6. I think I went 2-1 on confident picks. But let's get right into it. Starting with the main event, Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas 2. Pretty standard fight. Round 1, Amanda it's kind of even on the feet. Mackenzie Dern gets a takedown and holds Amanda down for the entirety of the round. Amanda kind of just trying to negate as much damage as possible, but she still is just held down for the entire round, accepts bottom position. We moved to round 2. Round 2, it's kind of the opposite of round 1. Just essentially, Ribas gets the takedown. She uses a judo throw to get down Mackenzie and holds her down for almost the entire round before Mackenzie reverses position, ends up on top, but doesn't do enough damage to flip the round. 1-1. Round 3, pretty much the same thing. Again, Amanda is able to take down Mackenzie, but then Mackenzie reverses position yet again. Ends up getting an armbar attempt to sweep, ends up in top mount, and then goes for another armbar, ends up completing it, and submits Amanda Ribas. First ever person to submit Amanda Ribas in her career. She does it in round 3 in the waning seconds. Decent win. Who's a person you could give Amanda Ribas? It was an alright fight. It was about as good as people would expect it to be. If you don't get what I'm saying, then you don't get what I'm saying. You could do... She's literally fought everybody besides Suarez and Zhang Weili. She's not going to fight Yan Xiaonan. I mean, you could, I guess, do the Lemos-Dern rematch because that fight was close, and Amanda Lemos is coming off a loss to Verna, and she's sitting in the top 5, I guess. Or you could do, like, Dern versus... No other fight makes sense. Because Jessica Andrade beat the ever-living shit out of her somehow. And Amanda Ribas, I don't know what you could do with her. You can make her fight like Jillian Robertson. I think you could do that. I feel like that's a rematch. I feel like her and Ribas have fought each other before. Why do I feel like that? Have they not? I don't think they have. I just feel like... I don't think they have. They haven't. I don't know why that felt like a rematch fight to me, but it is what it is. We move to the co-main event. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Carlston Harris. There were 2 pretty bad stoppages on this card, this being one of them. This is the lesser of the 2 evils. Carlston and Santiago, they're going back and forth. In the first round, Santiago's landing right hands early in a lot of them. Early and active. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you get what he's landing a lot of right hands early on. Carlston, near the waning minute and a half of the round, ends up dropping Santiago pretty bad, and then when Santiago gets back up, he catches him with the same right hand and knocks him down again. He gets 2 knockdowns in the first round. Immediately round 1 goes to Carlston. Round 2 rolls by. And again, it's kind of even on the feet. There's a moment where Carlston stumbles him again with a right hand, dropping him. I don't think they counted it as a knockdown, but it was 2-0 going into that third round. Round 3, it's pretty even again, and then Santiago ends up catching Carlston with a right hand, a couple of them, and stumbles him and hurts him pretty bad. And then Santiago ends up dropping Carlston twice, but the stoppage was too... Here's the thing. If he could have stopped it at a good time, and the stoppage would have been perfectly fine visually. Kerry Hatley stopped it at a point where it was too late because Carlston was starting to throw back strikes. The stoppage didn't make any sense anymore for him to stop it when he did, but he stopped it anyways. So that kind of made me upset because I picked Carlston Harris. He was up 2-0, and I thought it was a bad stoppage. It would have made sense if he stopped it earlier. is what I'm trying to say. He let it go on too long to where he was like, I should stop this. I'll let it go on. Should I stop this? If he stopped it right when he knocked him down and he was just landing ground and pound, I would have been fine because like, damn, he's out. But then Carlston fought back into it and then just kept getting hit. Carlston needs to keep his hands up, though. He should have just run, buddy. Run. I get your 37. Just run. You're up 2 rounds. It made me upset, though. I thought the stoppage was bad. Good win for Santiago. He gets another finish. Carlston Harris. They're just 2 old men fighting each other. We move to the featured fight. Cesar Almeida versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Oh, boy. Pretty good fight for as long as it lasted. Round 1, the entire fight, it was all in round 1. Cesar's chewing up the legs, landing jabs, throwing kicks to the body, this, that, and the other, doing traditional Cesar Almeida shit. Abdul Razak Al Hassan near, like, the final minute, maybe a minute 10, ends up dropping Cesar Almeida. He ends up dropping him with a straight right hand. He was loading up on these right hands the entire fight, and he was catching Cesar sometimes, but Cesar, you know, he's got that Alex Pahea defense where he just puts his arms out to, like, brace your shoulder and, like, leaves his chin right open. He tries to catch, like, the punch with his shoulder, try to roll with it. He gets clocked with a straight right, gets dropped. And in my mind, I'm thinking about the stat where it's like Abdul Razak is undefeated. He's 6-0 in a fight where he scores a knockdown, and I'm like, damn, he caught him bad. And then Cesar gets up, and he's getting tagged, hit with big fucking right hands. He gets back up, and Abdul lands, I shit you not, like 6 punches in a row, and then whiffs a right hand, loads up on a left hand. When he's doing that, Cesar loads up on his own and just fucking clobbers him with it and knocks him out cold, stiff as a board. One of the worst reactions I've seen to a knockout in a while since, like, it wasn't as bad as Feng Xiaokan versus Xing Ming on that Macau card where she had to get carted out, but it took them, like, 6 minutes to get Abdul on a stool. So it was pretty bad. Rough knockout. Very rough knockout to take at 39 years old, especially. Good win for Cesar Almeida. I don't know what you could give him next at middleweight. I don't know, like, a guy that you could feed or try and give to him at middleweight. That would make sense, because I don't think he deserves rankings yet. Because he lost to fucking Roman Kopylov, and Roman Kopylov hasn't had a shot in the rankings in a second. Active. Let me find somebody real quick. I mean, if Ikram Alaskarov beats Andre Muniz, I think that fight would make a lot of sense. I think that fight would be pretty good. Him versus, like, Medina's moving down to 170, I forgot. AJ Dobson, oh, he got cut, didn't he? Fuck. There's a lot of people on this website that just aren't. Trayshawn Gore, that'd be a good fight. That'd be a pretty solid fight. Maybe Ryan Loder. That would actually be a sick fight. Try and pair him up with such a wrestler to see if he can survive, because he's got, like, weirdly good takedown defense. I don't know. We move to Chris Curtis versus Roman Kopylov. This was the other bad stoppage. This one is worse, in my opinion, because it just doesn't make any sense to why he would stop it based on the timing. The whole fight, by the way, was sick. This was the best fight of the entire card. It was badass. Round 1, Roman and Chris just exchanging. Roman Kopylov has the speed advantage. He wins round 1 just based off of output, numbers landed, and I think he actually landed the best shots. He landed a good step-in elbow and then a couple good straight rights, or straight lefts, rather, because he's a southpaw. He was dinging him up. Round 2 is like a swing round. Round 2 is the round that some people were deciding. I thought it would go to Chris Curtis, but I can understand people giving it to Roman Kopylov because he seemingly hurts Chris Curtis like twice in the round. For sure hurt him at the end of the round, and there was an earlier moment where he catches him with a left hand, and he kind of freezes up, and then he catches him again, and then Chris kind of like shells up, but Roman never like capitalizes on it. But there was that moment. I gave the second round to Chris Curtis because he did just outland him. And to be fair, I will say this in the second round, Roman fouled Chris Curtis twice. And I think those 2 fouls really played a part not in the fact that they affected Chris Curtis, but the fact that they benefited Roman Kopylov because he started to slow down, took a couple breaks, got back into it, started to get a second wind, and kind of just found his rhythm back. That's what I mean. Round 3, very competitive up to that point. Roman Kopylov, he stumbles Chris Curtis a couple times, ends up shooting a couple takedowns near the end of the round, gets one of them. Another one of them was pretty close, but he gets him down for like 20 seconds on one of them. Chris Curtis gets back up. Waning seconds of the round, 10 seconds, they're just kind of throwing. Roman Kopylov throws his 1-2, throws like was it a right hook or left hook? Does he go right and then up? I think he throws like a right hook, misses, and goes up high with a left hook, feints like a straight left, and hurts Chris Curtis really bad with it. He hurt him really bad with it. To be fair, he lands, it's kind of like a Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje 2 head kick where he blocks it one-handed, but it like wraps around and hits him and he stumbles to the ground. The stoppage would have made sense if Roman jumped on him. If Roman jumped on Chris Curtis and started landing ground and pound, it would have made sense because Chris Curtis was very, like, discombobulated. But Roman was walking off. I don't really get the stoppage. I think it was kind of bullshit. I think Roman Kopylov would have won anyways to a decision. He won round 1 on every scorecard and won round 3 clearly with the knockdown. So I don't really care that much. I do think that it was a bullshit stoppage, though. Even though I picked Roman Kopylov, I love seeing Roman Kopylov win. That's crazy that he was able to even knock down Chris Curtis. I just think it was a little bit of a bullshit stoppage, in my personal opinion. I think that it shouldn't have been stopped. I mean, it kind of just like, it's like a little salt in the wound, if you will, to Chris Curtis's ego, which he is a very egotistical person. But yeah, we move to Christian Rodriguez versus Austin Bashi. Austin... he's still a little green. I should have thought about that going into this fight. I know that he is very green. I know he's very young. It's not that he's green. He's got a lot of MMA experience. He has the same amount of experience as Christian Rodriguez. It's just the amount of the resume and also the years. Austin Bashi is only 23 years old. Very young kid. Listen, put a pace. Was able to keep a good pace with Christian Rodriguez, which you don't normally see. Whenever guys usually fight Christian Rodriguez, a.k.a. Raul Rosas Jr., Cameron Simon, and Isaac Dolgarian, all three of those guys were really huffing and puffing like midway through the second round. Raul Rosas and Isaac Dolgarian a bit more than Cameron Simon. Austin Bashi's got good cardio. It's just that he's just not good enough yet. He's a little too young. Don't get me wrong. I was very shocked with Christian Rodriguez's takedown defense. I will say that. His takedown defense looked crazy good in this fight. It shocked me entirely that he improved the way that he did. Austin Bashi, he needs to work on his striking, for sure. That's the main thing. He needs to be able to work his striking into takedown attempts, because he kind of was just blasting double legs across the octagon at Christian Rodriguez, which, to be fair, that's probably why he wasn't getting takedowns, was because the takedowns weren't set up entirely well. But I do believe that Austin Bashi does have a high ceiling. We just need to give him a little bit of time. To be fair, I should have thought about how wild of a matchup Christian Rodriguez is for your debut in the UFC. That's a bit wild. Usually guys like fucking featherweights, they don't usually get guys like that. And to be fair, we've seen guys get like even crazier tests like that. Roberto Romero kid at 309 got fucking David Onama in his debut. But like Austin Bashi should have gotten like a fucking, like a Bajuka, like a Dennis Bajuka or like a fucking AJ Cunningham debut. But they threw him right to the fucking wolves. Which, to be fair, listen, he had a lot of hype coming into this. And Christian Rodriguez was coming off the Julian Erosa loss, which it doesn't make sense that all 4 of Christian Rodriguez's wins, besides Joshua Weems, so he has 5 wins technically, boo-hoo. Like 4 of his 5 wins are against undefeated guys with a lot of hype. I don't. And then he loses to fucking Jonathan Pierce and fucking Julian Erosa. Make it make sense, dude. Austin Bashi, good ceiling. Christian Rodriguez, great win. He honestly looked very good. To be honest, he looked very good. Still kind of let himself get controlled in moments, to be fair, but his striking did look a bit better. Austin Bashi just needs to improve his striking fundamentals, and also working his striking into the takedown attempts. That's all he needs to work on. He looked solid. Like, I can tell that he is good. Like, Austin Abashi is good. It's just he's a little too young. A little too young. We move to the start of the main card. Punahele Soriano versus Uros Medic. I picked Punahele. I didn't expect him to knock him out. I know Uros's chin has always kind of been a little battle-tested. Like the Matthew Semmelsberger fight, of course, he got dropped. I think twice, and then I think he got hurt by... Did he get hurt by Jalen Turner in their fight? I think he might have. Did he? If it'll let me scroll. He might have. I don't know. It seems like fucking Jalen beat the shit out of him, to be fair. And then Muktabek kind of was hurting him on the feet in the second round, I believe, going into his takedowns. He kind of slowed down. Punahele, he hasn't had a vintage performance like this since like his first 2 fights in the UFC. Punahele used to do this all the time. His first couple fights in the UFC, he was knocking dudes out really quick, and then he kind of just started losing. His last fight was really good against Miguel Baeza. I thought he was going to take down Uros, because that's definitely the weakest part of his game, is his grappling defense. But Punahele catches him early with a right hand, and then Uros just doesn't bring his hands. But it was a weird performance from Uros. I was honestly very shocked by how piss poor his striking defense looked in this fight. I don't know if it was because of time off, maybe? Not even that. I mean, he fought Means in April. This was just a very weird Uros Medic performance. I'll say that. This didn't look like Uros Medic a lot. Not to take anything away from Punahele Soriano, of course. I picked him to win. But very, very brutal KO to suffer from Uros Medic, to be fair. Good win for Punahele Soriano. We love to see Puna win. He's a GOAT. But yeah, crazy knockout. We move to the featured prelim. Jose Johnson versus Felipe Bunes. Man, he's just dumb. Jose Johnson's just stupid. He is just dumb. I forget that sometimes. Felipe Bunes, he ends up getting an armbar. He was threatening it the whole time. Jose Johnson was looking decent on the feet. Felipe Bunes was kind of getting tagged up, and then Jose just takes him down and sits in full guard, and then just lets Felipe Bunes get an armbar. The scramble for the armbar was kind of crazy, to be fair, but Jose Johnson's just dumb. I always forget that he's just stupid. He's just dumb. Felipe Bunes isn't good either. He's 35 years old at flyweight. He's probably going to lose his next fight as well. But good win. Good win for Felipe Bunes. I guess he's going to be nothing. Neither of these guys will be anything. Jose Johnson is 6 foot at flyweight, and he's 0-2. We move to Marco Tulio versus Ihor Poltieria. This was wild. Marco Tulio beat the shit out of him. He did foul him twice. He kicked him in the dick, and then did he eye poke him? No, he just kicked. I'm thinking about the Kopylov fight. He kicked him in the dick pretty hard, and Ihor went down for 3 minutes. Besides that, Marco Tulio looked really good. Besides a moment where Ihor caught him coming in, that's my biggest fear for Marco Tulio, is the fact that he is very explosive. But he's explosive, but his chin is just on a silver platter for people, man. And Ihor caught him twice. But besides that, Marco beat the shit out of him. The finishing sequence was brutal. Caught him with a right hook, slumped him with a left, and then the ground and pound was just not needed. It was kind of a late stoppage, in my opinion. Ihor was super hurt afterwards. And Ihor's probably going to get cut now. 2-6 in the UFC. Sorry, I'm getting the hiccups. 2-6 in the UFC, 5 of them by finish, I believe. I think the only guy to beat him by decision was Cesar Almeida. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, every other guy has knocked him out. Dude, where did Nicolae Negumereanu go? Where did he go? Dude got knocked out by Carlos Ulberg and then just fell off the face of the earth. What the fuck? I forgot about that shit, dude. I forgot about the decision to Kennedy and Sechikui. Holy shit, dude, that's terrible. But yeah, Marco Tulio brutally KOs Ihor Pottieri in the first round. Pretty standard. We move to Thiago Moises versus Trey Ogden. My other underdog pick. I had 3 on here, to be fair. I hit one of them. I missed the other 2. This one kind of pissed me off, though. Trey Ogden won the first round pretty clearly. He was kind of beating the shit out of Thiago in the first round outside of like the first minute. Round 2, Thiago just leg kicks him and Trey Ogden falls down, and then he succeeds the rest of the round. Round 3, much of the same. Trey Ogden takes him down and then just falls off his back. And also, Trey Ogden tore his bicep. So, it is what it is. It's a good win from Thiago. It is a little wild how close of a fight he's having with Trey Ogden at this point in his career. It's definitely a little concerning. Like, I know Trey Ogden's, like, very crafty. He's very quick for his age, to be fair. He's very quick for a 35-year-old at lightweight. And very, very crafty, I'll say. But, yeah, I don't... If Trey Ogden didn't tear his bicep, I think he would have won. Nah, but Thiago Moises, it was a close fight. Like, Trey was touching him up on the feet. He just he made mistakes. That's what I'll say. He made a couple of bad mistakes and gave away the fight. But Thiago did damage to the lead leg. That's how he won the second round. Round 3, it's kind of just like injury parity, I guess. It is what it is. We move to Preston Parsons versus Jacoby Smith. What did I fucking tell y'all a lot? I told you Jacoby Smith is going to be something great. He brutally knocks out Preston Parsons in the first round. And I mean, floors him with a left hook in the pocket and just, He didn't even beat him the way I thought he would. I know Jacoby has a lot of power in his hands. He is what the UFC used to be built on, was these types of fighters where they're just standout wrestlers with insane power in their hands. And we got another one. We got a modern MMA version of one of those with Jacoby Smith, and his wrestling is good. And he's got power in his hands. His striking, still a little, like, goofy, but he's shorted up way more than it was on, like, the Contender Series. He was landing heavy as well. Like, he was landing on Preston Parsons a lot, and he just ends up chinning him. And Preston Parsons goes down. He's 2-4 now. I mean, you look at what, like, Oban Elliott was able to do to Preston Parsons. He kind of outclassed Preston and kind of schooled him. Jacoby brutally knocked him out. So, I don't know. I think Jacoby Smith is going to be something great. Didn't take any damage. I'd like to see Jacoby Smith get a pay-per-view slot. Not on the main card, not like that, not on like a pay-per-view card, not on like a pay-per-view like main card per se, but who could you give him at welterweight? Who are some fellers at welterweight that you could feed to Jacoby? Ramiz Brahimaj would be very cool. That'd be a sick fight, low-key. The grappling would be kind of sick. Maybe Themba Garimbo? Anyone down for that? Alessio Zaleski dos Santos? I'm naming off some like older guys, but like I think these fights would be solid. What about like him versus Billy Ray Goff would be sick. Come on, guys. I know Billy Ray Goff has a fight announced. Who's he fighting? I forget who Billy's fighting. He has a fight booked, but that fight would be sick, no? Come on. Come on, guys. Billy Ray Goff, Jacoby Smith. What are we fucking talking about here, guys? Come on. But Jacoby Smith is going to be a problem. You watch out. We move to Ernesta Carrasqueta versus Nicole Cagliari. I have no idea how this was a split decision. No idea at all. I honestly thought Ernesta won the second and third round pretty clearly. Round 1 was like the only close round because she kind of got taken down a couple times. But on the feet, Ernesta, again, just pushes a crazy pace, man. And to be fair to Nicole, she was actually able to withstand some of it. But she's kind of just swinging right overhands over and over again. And her striking isn't very technical. So, but she has a good ceiling. I think Nicole can win some fights. I think she'll probably win her next one, depending on matchmaking. Ernesta definitely improved a little bit. Her takedown defense is still pretty solid, or it improved quite a bit. Her cardio is still good. Her striking, she's shoring that up. I think Ernesta can become a problem. 5'9" at women's flyweight is pretty fucking crazy, if you ask me. If she can keep using range well, I think Ernesta Carrasqueta can actually become something good. I'm looking out for her. Nicole, she looks all right. You could tell that when Ernesta started getting those flowy kind of states where she was just kind of dinging combos together, that you were like, oh shit, she's actually tagging her up now. That's when Nicole just kind of shelled up. But good win for Ernesta. She'll probably get, like, I'm not even going to look up anybody because who gives a shit. We move to Magomed Gajiasulov versus Bruno Lopez. Man, Bruno stunk this one up, man. I really thought this was going to be like a finish or get finished kind of fight. Magomed clearly won the first round, just did more damage. He lost the last 2 rounds. He dropped the last 2 just due to clinch control. And that, it pisses me off, because Bruno Lopez was always kind of this dude who is a striker, has heavy hands, and he's kind of got good grappling. He legit he Mario Batista'd. He Mario Batista'd Magomed Gajiasulov. And that pisses me off. Because who else are you going to do that to at light heavyweight, dude? Who else are you going to do that to? I hope Bruno Lopez gets brutally KO'd in his next fight. I really hope so. I have no idea how he's 14-1. Magomed Gajiasulov, he needs to definitely improve his clinch power. I will say that. His, clinch exits. Because he would do that sometimes, and then he'd just, fall right back into it. He needs to stop, he would just kind of throw a jab and then just kind of shell up in front of Bruno and allow himself to get clinched. You can't do that, man. Especially when that's his whole game plan is to clinch you. Come on, Magomed. You gotta be better than that, bud. But, yeah, good win, I guess. Fuck you. We move to Fatima Klein versus Victoria Dudikova. Man, Victoria's fall off needs to be studied, man. She landed 4 strikes in this fight. She threw 6 strikes. Oh my god. Yeah, she's just not that great. Fatima, not that she's not that great, Fatima Klein is really good. Especially at strawweight. She is really good. She's really big for the division, very strong. And her grappling and scrambling looks very solid for strawweight. I think Fatima Klein is honestly, skill-wise, already looks like a little bit better than Erin Blanchfield, if I'm being honest. I'll say it. Dude, when I say it, I'll say it, dude. I'll say it. At this point in her career, 2 fights into her career, at least, is what I mean. Of course, Erin Blanchfield's probably better, but, at this point in her career, Fatima Klein only has 8 fights. Erin Blanchfield has, 16? I think Fatima Klein actually is pretty good. She beat the shit out of Victoria. She finished her in the second round with ground and pound DL, but she, bloodied her up pretty bad. And there was also a bad moment where Victoria slapped her head coach after losing. Come on, lady. You gotta fucking shore your emotions up a bit better than that. Come on. But yeah, good win for Fatima Klein. We move to the start of the year. Nurilo Aliyev versus Joe Solecki. Man, this fight kind of sucked outside of some moments. I think Nurilo knocked him down in the second round. Besides that, it was legit just Nurilo controlling him on the ground, like a lot of people thought it would be. Nurilo Aliyev clearly wins 30-27, still undefeated. Probably won't be anything, if I'm being honest. I don't think Nurilo Aliyev has a lot of ceiling. I think this is probably as good as it gets for him. He still has Renat Fakardinov style striking at lightweight, which I don't like. You're taking short notice Joe Solecki to a decision, and he didn't really come close to finishing him outside of the... And he also he lost the third. He lost the third round. He got reversed and then started getting his ass whooped. Nurilo Aliyev is not that great. I think that this guy he's kind of a fraud, I'm being honest. Fraud watch, Nurilo Aliyev. UFC Vegas 101 was decent. There were some stinky fights on here, but there were some, really standout. Fatima Klein had a really solid finish. Ernesta Carrasqueta, Nicole Cagliari was actually decent. Jacoby Smith, holy shit, what a KO. Marco Tullio, what a KO. Felipe Bunis, whatever. Punahele, what a KO. Roman Kopylov, Chris Curtis, what a fight. Cesar Almeida, what a KO. Ponz and Nibio, Carlson Harris was actually decent, I guess. And then Mackenzie Dern won. Ooh, you got a big butt. Yeah, good way to start the year, I guess. We just got to wait 7 more days, fellas. Or 6 when I upload this. We just got 6 more days. And we reach UFC 311. I'm licking my lips thinking about it. But, yeah. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.